Can Doctor Who even be saved at this point? Well, an old producer thinks there's a change that needs to happen, which echoes kind of what Brandon Braga said about Star Trek at the Star Trek Las Vegas convention just a couple of months ago. A lot of producers are seeing the state of streaming TV, and they know that there is a problem with it. And while I agree with him that this is a problem and maybe it would be better to try a different format or the like, I think there's a systemic problem of Doctor Who, which is a little deeper than this, and we all know what it actually is, and it needs to change, and I don't think a different format's going to actually fix that. I will get into my direct plan to fix Doctor Who, to bring it back to normalcy, and to, of course, change things. As a professional science fiction writer, BBC, call me. I am available to run the show whenever you want, and I can help fix things here. Of course, a lot of people would be able to do so. Just the current crop under Russell T Davies and the like are a disaster, and that's exactly what caused the last couple of years of problems. So please hit the like and subscribe button. Join us here as we talk about all things Doctor Who and science fiction. Really appreciate you guys being here. Let's get into this news in just a moment. My name is John Delarose. I am a science fiction writer, as aforementioned, and I would like for you to check out my books. If you like my thoughts on writing, on Doctor Who and the like, you will enjoy my Aritian War universe. This is a lot like classic Star Trek, Deep Space Nine, Next Generation back in the day. I really liken it to Babylon 5. If you're a more niche Babylon 5 person like me, leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you guys because that was my favorite show of all time, but that's another story. Check this out. It's in the description below. Like I said, it's a trilogy. It builds up a cool war with some really complex characters that do fun things over time, and I'm going to be doing some space exploration, some time travel stories that are going to be dovetailing out of this very, very soon. Catch up now, support our channel, and support great independent science fiction. Thanks. It's in the description below. Grab it today, my friends, and start reading. Okay, so Doctor Who legend Philip Hinchcliffe revealed his plan to save the series in an interview just recently. Now, if you don't know who Philip Hinchcliffe is, he served as Doctor Who producer from 1974 to 1977, the perfect golden best years of Doctor Who, presiding over what many fans considered the show's creative peak. Working alongside script editor Robert Holmes and starring Tom Baker as the Fourth Doctor, Hinchcliffe delivered classic serials like The Seeds of Doom, Pyramids of Mars, The Deadly Assassin, and Talons of Wen-Chang. His era became synonymous with sophisticated horror-influenced storytelling that appealed to both children and adults. The Hinchcliffe years established many of Doctor Who's most enduring monsters and concepts while maintaining the perfect balance between science fiction, adventure, and character development. That's the type of thing that I like. Now, he spoke at a event called BFI South Bank, which I don't even know what that is, and he outlined his vision for revitalizing a struggling series. Though he insisted he'd never be asked, which is sad, to return as a creative consultant, he suggested Doctor Who should abandon its current 50-minute episode format in favor of classic 4-part structure. Now, this is pretty interesting right here, and this was kind of a buried lead when I first started reading about this, in my opinion. He'd never be asked to be a story consultant. Well, why wouldn't he be? I mean, this is stupid. I mean, that's the first thing. Okay, is there anybody still alive who actually would be willing to story consult from the Tom Baker era? Let's do it. I mean, it seems like a no-brainer at this juncture to revitalize the series right there. But hey, if they want some younger, fresher blood, I'll give them my take and give them my example of what I want to do in just a moment. But this is what he said right here. That's a very good time for a movie or television story to be told, 100 minutes. It gives you room to introduce characters to unravel an inciting event of the story, the mystery of what's going wrong, and you've got time to get to know the characters, to invest emotionally with the characters, not just the heroes, and there could be plot reversals, suspense. It doesn't have to be action all the time. To try to tell an interesting story in 50 minutes is very difficult. I would want it to be that length, 100 minutes, because if you are watching something, you want to invest in the supporting characters, not just the Doctor. It gives you room to tell the story, so that would be my main point I think would benefit it. Now, like I said, this is something that you've heard, these format changes and the current streaming changes and the like are a problem. He's not the only one saying this. Brandon Braga from Star Trek said very similar at a Star Trek convention recently when he actually called out something and he said, look, these like 8-10 episode series, they don't give you enough time to really like care about the characters or attach to them in the way that you used to back in the day. What we need is 22, 26 episodes like we used to have on television, and that way you see them week in and week out and you get to know your characters and care about them more, right? Very similar concept right here. Longer runtime equals you care about the characters more because you are more invested in them. But it's really interesting because if you look at the old serials and how many they used to do, they did a lot less per year than like when the return of Doctor Who actually came back. These 45-minute episodes were maybe a thing, but there were 16 of them in a season. That's what they had done back in the day when this first started. Now they're down to 8. They've cut it in half from what it used to be, right? And so with this, we have a shortening of Doctor Who, but the problem is going to be the exact same thing. Whether you have 16 episodes and they're all 100 minutes, whether you have 26 episodes and they're 45 minutes, and you have a longer runtime than the 8 episodes per season that we were giving under Gatwa and the like, well, I mean, if the writing's bad, the writing's bad. And that's what we have here. And that's actually what we have with Star Trek as well. If Star Trek Discovery was going 26 episodes rather than like 12 episodes per season, do you think that it'd be better? No, it'd be even more drawn out and even more cringy and even more painful to have to sit through. So the problem is actually what the content is itself. It starts there first. And we know what happened with the current Doctor Who era. They replaced the Doctor with a gay black guy to make him more woke. They even replaced the Ruby Sunday, who actually people liked a little bit as his companion, with like this Indian chick who was nagging the Doctor the entire time. I mean, it was terrible to watch, right? And so all of this had characters that were not likable, not compelling, and were riddled with identity politics throughout the entire thing. Tom Baker never had that. Sarah Jane never had that. That was not part of the show back then, right? And so that's where it's off the rails to begin with. So Doctor Who, if it wants to survive, I mentioned that I have an idea to, of course, fix it. It needs a hard reset, and it's already built into the show. Russell T Davies already caused a hard reset with the way that David Tennant bi-generated instead of regenerated. So now David Tennant exists as the Doctor with his own TARDIS, sitting there in Donna Noble's garden, acting as, I don't know what he's doing, getting drunk and playing golf, I guess, in his retirement. Meanwhile, we have this like other thing that's gone out there and, of course, has caused problems of not for the viewership. You don't even have to end that in continuity or anything like that. It is cringy that continuity exists. We just don't want that to be the Doctor, though. What it would make sense for is for the guy to be a villain. And we already have this baked in also. So if you ever watched The Mysterious Planet in 1986, you know about the Valeyard, which I can go over for you in just a moment. As we talk about, this is a character that is putting the Doctor on trial, and he's revealed to be a secret incarnation of the Doctor, being an amalgamation of the darker sides of the Doctor, who hails from somewhere towards the end of the Doctor's life. The Valeyard had been working with Time Lords to incriminate the Doctor in exchange for the Doctor's remaining regenerations, because they used to have a limit on regenerations. Yes, I know. The Valeyard attempts to escape and destroy the Time Lords, but is stopped by the Doctor. The Valeyard is presumed dead, but is revealed to have escaped at the end of the episode, and it has not been followed up on really in Doctor Who lore here. So what we could do is we have Gatwa generate into the Valeyard here, and then the Valeyard regenerate into a new actor or whatever at some point, so that we have this continuity going on. That character then goes back and, of course, tries to stop the David Tennant regeneration. Maybe I guess Gatwa already generated into Billy Piper, so Billy Piper is where it goes wrong because something went wrong with the regeneration, which is how it became the Valeyard, right? And then, of course, this character then goes after the David Tennant Doctor, only to find, if David Tennant doesn't want to come back, that he's left some time ago because he was going to have to regenerate. And then we have our new Doctor set up right there, and the Valeyard's chasing whoever this Doctor is, doesn't even know who he is. It's a mystery who the new Doctor is, and we have a nice white male Doctor character that comes out of this. And then that confrontation leads to the Doctor defeating the Valeyard, reclaiming his heritage, reclaiming who he is, reclaiming his identity. And guess what? You have a great Doctor Who. That's exactly how you should start things. You could do that in a special. It'd be a wonderful thing. I could write it very easily for you guys if you're there at the BBC. That would be the solution right here. But whether it's 100 minutes, whether it's 45 minutes, you need to reset and remove the identity politics from it. Otherwise, the Doctor Who fandom is just going to be a disaster all the way through, and it will continue to be a disaster. So please leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Hit the like and subscribe button. Love to hear from you. What do you think of my thoughts on the Valeyard and the Doctor? And of course, if you like my thoughts on how that goes, check out my Stars Entwined. It's in the description below. Really appreciate you guys reading and supporting good science fiction. We'll be back soon.